over the past few days and weeks that have shown Ukraine's capability to advance. I also think that the Russian economy is not in a good place, which means that their interest rates and inflation is over 20%, which means that their reserves are close to zero, which means that their economy will not be growing this year, which means that they will probably have to increase, for instance, their value-added tax. Having said that, never underestimate the capacity of Russians to sustain an economic decline. So my message, and in the conversation that I'll have with President Trump on Thursday, we'll look at a lot of the facts on the ground. And I can also bring messages from my recent visit to Kyiv, where I had a chance to have one-on-one conversations with President Zelensky and also get an extensive security briefing of the situation on the battlefield. Then it is, of course, up to the President of the United States to decide what he does with the information. I keep on stressing that the President is very curious in gathering as much information as possible and then, of course, draws his own conclusions. My final point is to say I think President Trump began from a position where he tried softly to persuade Russia to end this war. That was the carrot phase. And of course, with the latest language that he has put forward, I see a stick emerging. How big that stick is going to be is in the hands of the president himself.
Yeah, and maybe not much to add here other than Iceland stands united with like-minded countries in asking for just and lasting peace for Ukraine. I think the stick is partly in the hand of the United States president, but also I would say in the clever setup of the use of the frozen assets, which is in Europe's hands. And I think those two are the responses that are needed to get to a just and lasting peace and broad-based solidarity amongst those of us who need to live in a world that is rule-based, where sovereignty of nations is respected. So that's very much where we're at, I believe, and hopefully we're coming close to peace in more places than one.
Alec Nehum, MTV News.
President Stubb, you obviously covered this a bit already, but on Thursday in Washington you will be meeting President Trump. Why is this meeting taking place now, and are icebreakers on the agenda?
Well, we have many issues on the agenda with President Trump. As you might be aware, we are in fairly constant contact, but I think it's important from time to time to sit down and discuss bilateral issues face to face, because our focus has been very much around Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine. It's been around NATO and the alliance. It's been around few industrial issues, including icebreakers. So we have a very broad agenda for Thursday, and I look forward to the bilateral conversation and being in the Oval Office as Finland, not as part of a broader delegation.
And the last question goes to Finnish news agency Anni Keski-Heikkilä.
Thank you. To President Stubb, it's very exceptional for the Finnish Prime Minister to have a meeting with the President of the United States. So why is Petteri Orpo attending now on this trip and in the meeting? And since you are both going, and if the topic is icebreakers, how big of a deal should we expect? And are we talking old or used or new icebreakers?
Good try. So this time around, the agenda with the President of the United States is broad, and it includes economic and industrial issues. So I took the unilateral decision of having the Prime Minister as part of the delegation, asked him whether he would like to join, and of course he would.
Thank you very much. Press conference has ended.
Thank you.